Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello and welcome back.
So we wanted to share another mantra with you guys because we've had like amazing results with people putting mantras into their life and absolutely changing their lives.
Oh my gosh, huge life changes. Yes.
It's been hundreds of people that we've worked with that the practice of doing the mantras has pushed away, whether it's negativity, even physical pains, dark energies. It's just made a life-changing event basically in somebody's life by just simply getting into the mantras, the Sanskrit mantras.
Yeah, the Sanskrit ones are really important because of the vibration that they put out around you.
So this one we're going to take a look at is about the divine feminine, and this is about the Shakti energy, but also about the Kundalini energy. And as we've said, the Kundalini energy is the key to our transformation and evolution. And it is a beautiful thing because it enlightens us.
It does enlighten. Yes, indeed.
Enlighten in so many ways. It enlightens our sense of being. It illuminates us, and it also roots and grounds us, and at the same time provides a launching pad for blasting off into the higher realms.
It does. It's really important for all of those things.
Yeah, there's many ways you could look at it. And as we've talked about 30,000 or so different denominations of Christianity, there are countless denominations in Hinduism as well, although this actually comes out of the Kundalini tradition, the Sikh tradition. And so here you see the mother goddess, and within her you see Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So there's so many different traditions, as we've talked about. The Vaishnavites believe Vishnu comes first. The Shaivites believe Shiva comes first. And then those that follow the Devi, the mother goddess, believe she is primary. It's not necessarily something that we should start fights over for sure. Because these divine beings, they just simply want to share love with us.
It's really important to acknowledge that. So whichever area you decide to delve into, there's not going to be any controversy when it comes to the deities that are helping you. They're all just wanting to help.
And as we've said before too, Christ Yeshua, does not have any issues with Krishna and does not have any issues with Buddha, doesn't have any issues with the divine feminine in any way, shape, or form. Actually is very sad at the way the divine feminine is treated in this world.
It has been treated and bullied and stomped down, and just so many things sad about it. But we're waking up and we're lifting that energy up again.
So yeah, when we look at the divine feminine, it's in the form of Shakti. It's so many things. One thing it is the Great Mother. It's the enveloping, embracing love of compassion, no matter who you are, no matter what you've gone through.
That's important to acknowledge also, is that it's a very forgiving, compassionate energy. And when you take this energy in, you're able to put that energy out to other people.
And you were saying when you see Mahalakshmi, you see her very much in this type of state.
Yeah, always looking down on us. This is how I see her.
In that form of compassion, love, and also wanting to help her children.
Oh, most definitely. And enjoying it when she sees growth and compassion.
So these are the words, and I have a beautiful version of it by Ajit Kaur that for you guys to listen to that I'll put there. And so it's Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarab Shakti, Sarab Shakti, Sarab Shakti, Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo. Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. So, what does that mean? Well, it says that I bow or I acknowledge the primal power I bow to the all-encompassing power and energy. I bow to that through which God creates, and I bow to the creative power of the Kundalini, the divine mother power, which lies within us.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and if you're like me and it takes you a while to learn things, here's a trick. What I do is I put it on like, um, I think they're 4x5 cards. They're just those really small lined cards, and I put it in front of myself and I say it over and over and over until I get it. And it might take me hundreds and hundreds of times, but I get it eventually.
Yes, it's a matter of repetition. And again, I would recommend getting some mala beads, M-A-L-A, mala beads. Get the ones that come in 108. 108 is a divine number, so to speak, and it symbolizes many things, including creation itself. And then just basically you move one bead at a time as you do a repetition of the mantra. And so the hymn to Isis that I had covered maybe a couple weeks ago, Cindy is now going to memorize it and get it down. It's a big one too, because it's like 20 lines or so.
Yeah, it is a really long one. So I'm just going to write it down and put it in front of me and say it every chance I get.
And again, what these do, again, especially with the Sanskrit, but there is also power in Hebrew, and there is also power when you're saying the hymn to Isis in Egyptian. You really are. You can feel the power, as we've talked about before. The English language has been constructed such that you're always kind of sending out negative vibes, which is interesting. I mean, just look at it. Good morning, right? Spelling. I mean, we've talked all about this. All the double speak and the kind of like little black magic that's in the English language.
Oh, it's all over the English language. And, kids learn all about spelling at a very young age.
They sure do. They sure do. And, every morning when you greet somebody, there you go. Morning. Right. Morning, the semantics and everything. Well, Sanskrit is constructed in such a way that there are basically 50 different sounds or letters, you could say, in Sanskrit. And there's also 50 petals on the lotuses, which are the leaves of the chakras. And so each one of the sounds that we have in Sanskrit turns on, so to speak, one of the lotus leaves in the chakras. So when we do these on a regular basis, we are igniting our Kundalini. We literally are opening up our chakras and allowing the life force, its life force energy, to flow up through the Sushumna channel and flow upwards into the pineal gland, enabling us to develop those abilities that the yogis have and that so many other masters have. As we talked about Yeshua and his ability to heal people. And, as we know, looking at the scriptures, that people could touch him and he wouldn't even have to send out the intent, and they would be healed according to what we have read. And, he was a master healer, but also he said that greater things we were going to do than he did. So how is that possible unless the source of all creation is within us? Unfortunately, in most of us, it's kind of lying dormant.
Yeah, and it does take time to do. It takes time and dedication, and doing it this way helps you work through any issues that you might have. So when this creative energy does come up, you're ready for it.
Yeah, and in the West, unfortunately, most of us have been brought up in a tradition that doesn't really even acknowledge the divine feminine. Which is so out of balance. But then again, look at the world. It's completely out of balance. Our society is totally out of balance. And the Divine Mother, as in Mother Earth, is paying the penalty. And so are we, with the poisoned water, with the mass die-offs, with the poisoned air, the poisoned food, everything that we see around us. A system that does not care about anything but just money and greed and power. And so the great mission is bringing balance back into the world. And, I know there was at the last mantra one we did that we were talking about the divine feminine, somebody made the comment, there is no divine feminine, there's only God the Father. And that's like, if they really would meditate on that, they'd see that's an impossibility. It just cannot be. You cannot have one without the other. It's just an impossibility. But again, it's something that's been so ingrained in people's minds, and they don't really understand. And well, like Christ is attributed to saying, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do," and they know not what they are even saying. In so many cases, they don't understand any of the true esotericism and the esoteric meanings, basically the hidden meanings inside the teachings. And that's unfortunate, but that's because the knowledge has been confined to the few so that they could have control over the many.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, we've been taught these things, taught their ways since childhood, since early on. So, that's just somebody who hasn't discovered anything yet, but I'm really glad at least they were acknowledging that something else exists, and hopefully this opened them up to another path.
Exactly. And, as far as like churches, I love to go to Unitarian or Universalist churches where, the sermon might be a lesson given to us by Buddha, or it could have been something from any other tradition, but also, where they relate it to what's been ingrained into us, which is a traditional Christian for most people, or Judeo or Islamic traditions, and equate it so we could start to see the universal truth that are there and start to break down the barriers, because there's no way we can move up into 5D when we have a mind full of division and, that viewing things as, because it's not of my tradition, it's evil. Because when we go up into 5D, we're going to start to shed all of our judgments as well.
Yep. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do, but we're on our way anyway.
We are. So we hope you guys will enjoy this, and please do listen to Ajit. She has a heavenly voice, and you could just feel the purity in it. The vibrations that come off these mantras are life-changing, and they just bring you peace like nothing I've ever experienced.
Yeah, it's definitely going to move things and change things.
So make sure that you are subscribed and have the bell clicked. Thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Anybody that needs to reach us, have an appointment, it's EEARTS@ProtonMail or evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com.
God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.